I know more and more I'm talking about like the economics of what's going down in entertainment right now. And it's a subject obviously I'm passionate about considering what it is that I do, but also in just seeing the conversation surrounding it. And it's a damn shame. It's the same in the music industry. How many people that are creative in some way, shape, or form and are economically illiterate. You hear me use that term a lot, but it's exactly what it is that they are. No matter how smart these guys pretend they are, no matter how creative they like to think that they are, they don't understand money. They don't understand economics. They especially don't understand business. So when you get someone that I don't even want to even say go against the fray, because what I advocate would benefit creatives a lot more than their current setup. They look at you as the enemy because it's a threat to the status quo. Now, we've been talking about these unions and be writers, actors, actresses. Of course, I'm not a fan of unions. Never mind that. Go watch my previous videos on that. However, how illogical they are in combination with the economic illiteracy. And this story that I'm about to share with you, it spells it all out and really makes the point for me. This is being covered from Variety, okay? And the original showrunner for the Daredevil show that was on Netflix is calling out Disney because they are able to get out of what he believes legally, and if we accept his word for it, paying him money to continue this, or other people that are involved. They did it in a name change. And you see this even in comics, not just like with a renumbering or something of that nature. It's also with getting guys that are going to be under a suit or have a similar suit of a character that is very, very recognizable to avoid paying families royalties. That's kind of how it goes. But look at this. Stephen DeKnight, who served as the showrunner on the first season of Netflix Daredevil, recently took it to social media to criticize Disney for running a scam, as he calls it, with his upcoming reboot series, Daredevil Born Again. The 18-episode series features the return of Charlie Cox. We understand that Daredevil, all these guys, Kingpins, the same guys. It's an old Disney scam, and this is what he said, where they slightly rename a series to reset contract terms back to the first season. The Knight wrote on X Twitter, needs to be addressed by the guilds, unions, and crushed. From what I understand, I'm not going to see a penny from Daredevil Born Again because they added Born Again and can claim it's a completely different show, with the exact same two lead actors. The Knight stressed that he is excited to watch Born Again, but he still thinks it's wrong that Disney can just give the show a new name so that contractually it is not a continuation of the Netflix series despite sharing the same characters. To be clear, he can't wait, yada, yada. He also says, but to claim this is a complete reboot and you don't have to pay the original creatives is some sort of, or some corporate shenanigans to say the least. Okay. There are so many different things that I want to speak about on this. First and foremost, let's talk about with a contractual obligation. Obviously, you don't own Daredevil. You don't own any of these characters. So you're kind of in a rough spot. You're contracted to really, it's a service, okay? Now, if you didn't like the terms, I don't understand why. And look at this. Like, this is the problem with collectivism in general. Because his logic, right, isn't to, okay, maybe there are things that can future-proof this issue that I could work to individually resolve. That's not what he says should be a solution. Instead, he's looking to the collective entity that they're a part of, right? The unions, to solve it and address it. And it's like, okay, if it's corporate shenanigans, you can maybe future-proof yourself from that being a problem by just negotiating the contract as such with your own lawyers, with your own guys. Now, we really start to see what the problem is, and that is where your industry is almost entirely controlled by these unions. You're painting yourselves in the corner, and now you feel like you have to be relying on them to address the problem, right? They shun you in the event that you're not a part of these unions. Hell, right now, if you work outside of it, they shun you. But that speaks to the problem, is that this is something that impacts you directly, right? And you feel like you're owed money on the other hand. Or maybe you should get it. And the corporate guys who have legal cats that are way smarter than you are, right? have figured out a way to finesse you out of money. See, that's what you are telling us, and that's what we're supposed to believe. So, one angle that I say, up in this stupid stuff and have you guys negotiating on your own behalves. That way, the only person to blame ain't the union, the guilds, or any of that stuff. It's you. Right? Well, that will require a lot more responsibility. I don't think that's something it is that you guys want. On the other hand, we're talking about people that you have deemed as the devil, corporate shenanigans. And this is what I was speaking about on my last stream. And nobody seems to be discussing, right? I'm supposed to believe, or I'm supposed to, because it's fist in the air, right? Workers' rights, everything's a class struggle with these communistic dipshits. And they think that we're supposed to take the sides of these guys. And I'm like, well, you keep telling me how bad these producers are, the money holders, if you will. You keep telling me how bad they are, yet everything, this whole stupid conversation that's being had right now is to negotiate a deal with the devil. The resources aren't being put into creating your own things. It's being put into negotiating and coming to terms with the people that you deem do grimy stuff like this. So if I accept you, right? Because again, the reason why I'm wording it like that, because I don't even know if it's true. I have no idea, right? These people are gonna look, no matter who you ask that's creative, they're always gonna think that they're supposed to be getting more money. No matter how illogical it is, even though you're already paid for the services. It's funny, we talk about these residuals. These people want residuals on projects that don't even make money. So they don't even understand risk. They can't calculate it. They don't understand any of that. So just for the sake of conversation, though, if we're accepting that these guys are that grimy, why on earth is the entire conversation centered around making deals with these people that are up to the corporate shenanigans? See, I don't know if these guys actually want a solution. To me, this whole thing, and I'm just looking at outside looking in type of situation, to me, this whole thing looks like, yet again, maybe these unions are in the pockets, or rather in the beds with these producers in some way, shape, or form, because they need each other, right? And that's always going to take precedent over what you as an individual creator, as part of this union, want. Right? There's already conversations being had, especially with the writers. Like, we didn't ask for this, but the unions negotiated this on your behalf. That's not a preferable setup to me. Okay? But I was reading this story earlier, and I'm like, this really just puts everything in the terms, man. Just really puts it out there, and you can see the fundamental problem. And if people just listen instead of getting all emotional over someone saying that, well, I am under no requirement, and it doesn't even make sense for me to just back the unions, right? Anytime you say that, what do? They say that you're in the pockets or you're defending the mega corporation. I'm like, well, I'm not the one trying to enter the deal with the mega corporation, guys. You are. Don't forget to check out my comic book company over at Rippaverse.com. After 2 multi-million-dollar campaigns, you can still get ISOM #1 and #2. Up next this fall is Alpha Core #1, written by one of the most prolific writers of all time, Chuck Dixon, and penciled by Joe Bennett. And if you can't wait for new content, go to our website right now and pre-order the first official Rippaverse hoodie. Y'all be easy.